we had a bit of a panic there. It all crashed. It all went crashed about 5 minutes ago. So it's just all started. I've been frantically copy and pasting things and getting back on board. So welcome to Real Magic Review. It's Monday, which means I talk about what I've been snuffling around magic-wise in my house. You know, 'cause I haven't been able to go out many places. Snuffling around my house, learning different bits of magic, and sharing with you what I've learned. That's what I'm going to do. And I'm looking at myself now, realising what a brutal haircut I gave myself this morning. So there we go. Don't look quite as good when you're 47. Last time I had one of these was a long time ago. But listen, we're going to talk about some good stuff. This is the good stuff. This is the stuff that kind of, you know, cements our way. It doesn't make sense, does it? I was getting the metaphors mixed up there. Cements our foundations and paves the way, I suppose I was trying to say. I don't know. To becoming better magicians, you know, because it's not all about just learning the tricks. It's kind of, you know, it's the other stuff. I've just written a blog on this, actually. So if you do sign up for my newsletter, or go to cardmagiccourse.com/cull, C-U-L-L, you'll get my links to my blogs and stuff like that. But anyway, before we carry on, please do like and subscribe. Huge difference. That's why I have to say it. And I wish I didn't have to say it every time, but it just, you know, just to know, to get that feedback is great. Please check out cardmagiccourse.com. It's my online card magic course. All of those are courses. Each one of those, you click on one of them and you get through to a load of moves, live sessions every week, and of course, new updated footage. And I also published the live sessions, and that's from one of the live sessions. Every week. So, and there's no better way than to listen to people talk about magic and show each other stuff, and I workshop different ideas, and people come in and they show us work in progress and we feedback on it. It's great. So check out cardmagiccourse.com, and if you want the free course on the spread cull, it's cardmagiccourse.com, as I said, /cull. It's not cardmagiccourse.com, as I said, /cull, but you know. Hey Anthony, how you doing? KDR Magic, how you doing? Julian, yeah, got it to cut. Yeah, I've got hair to cut. You're right. I am lucky at the moment there, but look how grey it's getting. It's sort of fascinating, really. It's fascinating how. Sorry, I'm sitting on my mic. It's fascinating how old I'm getting by the day. I look in the mirror every day because I have to, because I shave and stuff. You wouldn't know it, but. And I can see new wrinkles and new age happening every day. So, but that's why it's lovely doing stuff like this, because we're forever young, aren't we, as magicians? So the point of this is that I am, yesterday I had a few times recently, I've kind of decided to invest little bits of money to save time and be more effective in my learning. And this isn't about just throwing money at things. I've noticed that I haven't got, you know, I'm not saying I'm poor, you know, on the breadline of, you know, struggling, but we're all struggling. I haven't got money to spend on things, really. But what I realised is that, like all of us, we spend money on the stuff that we have. You know, how many times have we bought magic tricks, really, that we know we can't afford and we haven't really got the money to spend on, but we kind of manage, don't we? Stick it on a Visa card, whatever. Distinguished, thank you. So we all spend money we haven't got. But I was thinking, well, instead of buying more books, which I do anyway, that's never going to stop. If I want to learn something and I want to learn it effectively and quickly, and when I say learning quickly, I don't mean cutting corners. I don't mean like learning it not properly, but kind of getting down to the essence of building that foundation of learning. I've been thinking, look, you know, I really hold off paying people. I noticed what I was doing, and so I did a couple of things recently. I want this channel to grow. You know, like we want all of our work to grow, don't we? To develop. And so I talked to someone who is a magician as well. I've spoken about this before. A guy called John T, who also helps people with YouTube channels, and he just looks at it from an outsider's point of view and kind of knows his stuff. And just gives pointers on this. And obviously when people, you know, you can't just ask people to help you. If they're close friends, it's a bit different. But it's and people, if they want help, sometimes can't because of time constraints. So I spent, I paid for him to do me a consultation, and it was just worth its weight in gold. And I thought, look, that's just saved me days and days, not only days of research, which I kind of knew what I had to do. It's almost like a personal trainer. You kind of know what you have to do, but someone just sort of confirms it for you and makes you accountable. There's something about when somebody talks you through something and takes the time with you, you feel that momentum and that inspiration to do it. So that was really, really powerful. You'll notice that my thumbnails have changed, and there are going to be more changes, and that hasn't really run out, that momentum, that inspiration, that kind of that motivation. It's not kind of, it wasn't like he told me to do stuff, I did it for a day. It's still there. So I thought, I need to take this into other things. So I'm working on my show at the moment, my show, and I've put a link here. The tickets have gone on sale today. Obviously, a lot of you are not around here, and I'm not expecting people to travel miles for it. But if you are interested, it's there. And it's a show I'm writing every day, and I spend a day writing it. I never feel like doing it. I come into the office, I eat that frog, as the Brian Tracy that said it. That eat that frog is a phrase meaning you do the really unpleasant stuff first. So you get up in the morning, and once I'm doing it, I enjoy it. But it's just that getting those creative, that idea going is kind of a daunting task sometimes, and it's one which I will procrastinate over for years, as I have done. But I thought that I want to. There's certain routines that I'm looking at, and for this, and one of them is Rubik's Cube routines. You know, those of you that watch this regularly know I love cube magic, but I don't just want to take an existing routine and do it. Like I'm happy to do in my cabaret show, like Venom Cube, and great. But this show has to have some sort of meaning and premise behind it, so everything has to fit. And what I want to do is go back to the more skill-based stuff. Now, my Rubik's Cube solving is fine. I can do it. But I get a bit panicky when I'm under pressure. There's weak spots in it, and I know I've got to get down and practice. And this could be a metaphor for any card thing, by the way, if you're not into cube stuff. But I know that I have to take there's like a fork in the road with the method that I use, and I'm not quite sure where to go and what is the best for the way I want to use it. So I thought, well, Tom Crosby is someone that he does what I want to do. He doesn't. It's not like I'm going to nick his show. I'm not a street performer anymore. I don't do that anymore. But it's I have done when I was younger, not in so much of an explicit way. But looking back, sorry, Pete. But Tom is someone that performs skilled cube magic on stage, and I love his show. I saw his show at the session, and I really like him. And I know he does consultations. If you don't know Tom Crosby stuff, check out. I've put the link in here. I think it's magicnerd.com or something. But don't make sure that I don't get that wrong. But have a look at the stuff. But always look at the stuff below the links. So I said to Tom, can we just have a half an hour just to get me on the right track? And I had an hour with Tom, and it was just brilliant. There's something about someone that knows their stuff sharing it with you there is obviously so much stuff on YouTube, but that's kind of the problem. And this is where we are with magic, of course. There's so much stuff that where do we go when we just want to know it's good stuff, which is kind of the point of card magic course, really. Where we know we can be in the hands of someone that's done it, that lives it, that does it day in, day out, and knows this stuff. And Tom does that. And he's got his Twitch channel, which I shall put a link in below. I haven't, but check Tom's stuff on Twitch. Every day he's streaming there, doing cube stuff. But it fast-tracked me. It really fast-tracked me. It just saved me days and days and days. But also, it's not just a saving of time. It's the motivation it gives you. When someone has done that again, it puts that seed in it that makes me kind of go home and go, right, I'm gonna do this now. I've spent the time. There's money. There's skill in the game, because that's another thing. Really powerful thing to put skin in the game with this. And it's just working again and again and again. And obviously, this getting inspiration from other people, not just online, was something that fueled me in the early days. When I was street performing, I met magicians and hanging around with a guy called John Feely, who used to work at the Magic Castle, great magician. Peter Wardell, going out to South Africa and with Jacques Lesueur and the guy that stole Nelson Mandela's watch, not as in just stole it, as part of the magic thing. And Jacques got a great download called about watch stealing as well, by the way. I think it's just called Watch, but that's great as well. So all these people, I was in a situation sometimes where they would just say one thing and it would just go, and it would just spark something in me, and that would almost change my life and take me off another route. And actually getting really into magic was the genesis of that, was with Pete and Jacques in South Africa, getting into it for a second time. After I'd stopped many years ago. This was long time ago, 20 years ago. So it got me thinking, so I've got this, I've got 6 things I think will help you if you, and it's not just about if you lose your mojo. I've made a video like that before, but it's about if you kind of need to find that inspiration, because I do think that inspiration is everything. It's when you learn something kickstarts that learning, and it's very rarely someone just telling you to learn something. It's, you've got that interest already, but where does that interest come from? And it usually comes from seeing something moves inside you. I've always talked about this thing. I saw a coin vanish, very simple coin vanish, and it just, the minute I saw it, something shifted and made me it was a need to find out about this stuff. And the same happened when I started learning the cube, actually. And I talk about this in the show. It's about flow. It's about finding that activity that just ticks all those boxes for you. And one of those boxes is very rarely kind of any practical reason. It's just something in you sort of drives you. So here's my kind of tips for what they're worth of my experience of finding mentors or working with them or finding inspiration. First one is very obvious. Find those who know. It sounds obvious, but there are a remarkable amount of people giving advice who don't actually know whether that advice works. And sometimes that advice is sound because they've read it or they've imbibed it from books over the years and from people that they respect, you know, and they'll reference quite rightly, you know, certain books and Darwin Ortiz, and it says in Strong Magic this, and you know, all of those things work for that person, but they might not work for you. But you find the mentorship comes from people who know, who actually do it, but then you have to still find and adapt your own way of doing it, because it still is only what works for them. There are things that I could advise you on that would not work for you. And that's why with coaching, with any good coaching, it's never about giving advice. There are obvious things which you can say, you know, advice being practice as much as possible. That's clearly a thing. But the more nuanced stuff, I think, you need to play with it. You need to experiment. So I would say take advice, but be honest with yourself if it isn't working for you, because we are vastly different. Our audiences are vastly different. And if we find something that works for us, we'll find those people that it works for. And so it's, you know, like when I started this channel, so many people that I deeply respect said to me, you've got to do really short reviews, 2-3 minutes, as short as possible, you'll get more views. Great. But it just doesn't move me. It doesn't inspire me. It doesn't, you know, I want to talk about this kind of stuff. And I might have a smaller audience because of it, and that's fine, but they're my audience. Now, the people that will, you know, get some help with this stuff, and some people won't. So again, and when I talk about stuff like this, don't take this as gospel. Take it and understand that it might not work for you, but I would say just try it and then adapt, and that's the key to it. So find those who know. Also understand that with all the best will in the world, people may want to help you, but they may not be able to help you. I had a lovely message this morning of someone that wanted my help with something, and I'm reading the message going, there's everything in me wants to help this person. They want some regular help with something, and at the moment I just haven't got the capacity to do it. Now, maybe a one-off thing, but a regular thing, I just haven't got the capacity. I'm actually I'm monitoring my capacity for what I can get done at the moment, and monitoring briefly every minute of my day, so that at the end of a couple of weeks I can have a really strong idea of how many reviews I can record, how many sessions I can do, how long does editing actually take me as opposed to how it really takes me. So people may not be able to help you. Now, couple of things if that happens. Don't give up, don't hassle them, but it may be worth coming back to it in the future, and always thank them, you know, because most of the time people do want to help. It's just that they might not be able to. And offer something up in return sometimes. And I'm not saying this is always the case. I ask people for help sometimes. It might be just, you know, it might be, look, I understand your time is precious, you know, can I pay you a little bit for this? And they might say no, or they might need it, or they might still not be able to do it. Or something, maybe there's a contra deal where you have a job where you could help them in some way. And I'm not saying I will only help people that offer me something. That's not the case at all. But you know, I'm not a famous person, but if it's someone that is more famous, then they may there may be something there that you can give to them that will be helpful and valuable to them. That isn't just money. It's just something worth thinking about. The second is admit that you don't know everything. And that's easy to do if you're looking at people that have been in the, if I look at someone like, Steve Forte, I don't have to question whether he knows more than me. But there are people that maybe haven't been doing magic for as long as me that know more than me about a certain thing. There may be people that do Memdeck work, because I've sort of learned the Memdeck, but I don't know loads and loads about it that know more than me. I was just reading the what's the Memdeck guys called? Hang on, let me have a look. Daily Magician, right? And I'm going to talk about this, but the Daily Magician guys, they're really into their Memdeck stuff, and I will be reviewing a lot of the stuff they're doing. But have a look at the Daily Magician, and they just live and breathe Memdeck stuff. So they might not have been doing magic for as long as me, but I will, and they might be a lot younger than me. But I don't see myself as, just because I'm older and have done professional magic longer, that they can't give me a value. So stop. We don't have to just look up at those people that everybody knows about. We can actually learn from people that have just got into it, that maybe know other stuff that we don't know, or spent a lot of time with a certain move that actually, even though I've been doing it 20 odd years, I might not have spent time with. So it's very easy to be too proud to ask help for those people that are, in some contexts, less experienced than ourselves. But always be a student, I think, to everybody. And that has the added bonus of kind of relieving us of that arrogance as well, and making us a lot more approachable. And I'm always happy to learn. And I've been through periods, by the way, of having to prove myself, and it really doesn't help. Nobody responds to it, and nobody really wants to feel that desperation that you're just sort of spouting knowledge for the sake of knowledge, etc. But okay, read. Now, a lot of people say this, and I didn't want to do it for years. And I will talk a little bit in depth about it. Read stuff that you're not necessarily drawn to straight away. And listen to stuff that you're not necessarily drawn to straight away. Sometimes that's easier if it comes from a place you trust. So I listened to a podcast called The Knowledge Project. The Knowledge Project is talking to thought leaders, people that within their field are thought leaders, modern philosophers, have something to share. And it might be in business, it might be in investing, which I have no interest in, which is why we're talking about that. Or it might be in stuff that I am genuinely interested in, like productivity, marketing, things like that. I just like reading about it. There's a psychological aspect of it that pleases me. It's easy to go through that, and there's about 180 episodes or whatever, and it's easy to go through and kind of, whenever I see one about investing, I go, I'm not going to listen to that. Whenever I see one about, I don't know, some business I'm not designing, even though I'm interested in it, I'm not going to listen to that. Whenever I have really heard some inspirational stuff that has, again, fed into my magic and helped me make decisions that just weren't there before, the ideas that I just never heard. So don't just be open to, if you're into, say, cardistry, don't just read about cardistry. If you're into gambling routines, don't just read about them. It doesn't mean you're going to do the other stuff, but it might be that just you hear some nugget that you just wouldn't have heard of sticking to your lane. So again, yes, be a specialist. Understand that you might only do your thing, but find inspiration from other places. I started reading a book the other day by Twyla Tharp called The Create. Oh man, just Google it. It's a very famous book on creativity. She's a dance choreographer. I'm not a dance choreographer. I can't actually dance. But the inspiration from the first few pages of that book are incredible. And it just, again, it was like putting fuel in a car. I'd go through weeks of not being inspired, and then all of a sudden I'm coming in the office just because I've read a passage in something. So just be really, really open to something. The book I'm reading at the moment, called Mastery by Robert Greene, is a wonderful book and a very realistic book on how we achieve mastery. It's not about magic, but it's better than most magic books on talking about what we do, which is try and master something at the end of the day. Wonderful. A great chapter on that. About mentorship as well, which is just fascinating. Watch TED Talks. Great. Go to TED.com, watch the talks. That's it. And again, don't just watch the talks by Apollo. don't just watch Leonard Green and Apollo Robbins. All right, do watch. I was going to say Apollo Creed. I don't think he does a TED Talk on there. Don't just watch them, but watch the top 10 TED Talks, and then just watch them about productivity, about learning. Read Tim Ferriss's stuff about learning, all that stuff. You'll get so much out of it. That's a practical one. After this, go and watch TED Talks after you've looked at cardmagiccourse.com. This is one that I find really powerful. Today has been a day of me not wanting to do anything, and I've had one of the most productive days. One of the reasons is that I've made a plan. The plan was, like I said, every day I come into the office, I sit down on this carpet, open up the flip chart and work on my show for 1 hour. I set an alarm for 1 hour and I'm not allowed to do anything for 1 hour. That's it. All right. I have been wanting to write a show for years and years. I've done more in the last week and a half than I've done for years because I'm making myself do it. Then I wrote a blog, which I didn't want to do. It's like pulling teeth writing a blog for me, but I wrote it. And then I had to sort out the tickets for my show, all admin stuff. I had to mark an assignment because I'm a leadership trainer, so I had to mark some accredited assignment. All of this stuff is like pulling teeth for me. And every single time one of these jobs stops and another one has to start, I usually procrastinate for an hour or maybe a day or maybe years. Today I was on it because I'd stuck to my own rule, and my rule is the 10-minute rule, okay? Whenever you do something you don't want to do, and this is the case with practice, I don't care who you are, you're not going to love every time you practice. Sit down and do the work. It's not going to just, when we first get into it, we feel so inspired. Naturally, that wanes, all right? It does. And we need to keep an eye, go back to the goal and say, no, this is the thing. So the 10-minute rule is basically what it sounds like. If you know you have to do something and you don't want to do it, you can go one or two ways. You can procrastinate, like we all do sometimes, sometimes to the detriment of our own well-being, or you sit down and you tell yourself you're going to do it for 10 minutes. That's it. Really, really useful with exercise, by the way. If you want to start running or even going for a walk, tell yourself you're going to do 10 minutes. Don't say I'm going to do 5 times a week, an hour and a half, because I'll get really sick. It's too daunting. The key is you want to get out the door. That's it. Get the trainers on, get out the door. Same with Card Magic. You know, I do not want to get home tonight and start learning magic tricks to review, but I do have to do that because I need to do reviews. So I say to myself, I'm going to sit down in front of my telly, watch the stuff for 10 minutes. 9 times out of 10, within 10 minutes, I'm really into it. I'm having a lovely time, and I sit there for an hour or two and enjoy it way more than I thought I was going to. There's something about when it becomes something we've told ourselves we're going to do, it becomes a chore sometimes. So 10-minute rule, and if you need to stop after 10 minutes, then stop. No, nobody dies. You know, with practice, it's fine. But my feeling is that once you've done it for 10 minutes, you'll want to sit there for a bit longer. And just understand that we are not always meant to be having fun. Everything, there's yin and yang with this stuff. The rewards are so great for me with magic and with everything I do, really. Just, you know, when you're into these things that make us happy, whether it's reading, the rewards are so great. Sometimes the journey to those rewards are not fun. When I go for a run every morning at 6 o'clock in the morning, I don't want to go. When I have my cold shower after that run, I don't want to have it, but I know that it's going to make me feel good. And those things are not pleasant for the first bit, but then the feeling afterwards is. And understand that we're not meant to be happy all the time. We're not meant to be elated all the time. You know, we're meant to experience challenge, and that's what kind of separates us from the people who quit. You know, we learn what we do, we understand it's hard, but when it clicks, it's just the best feeling in the world. So understand that if you're seeking constant fun and you're there bored and you're thinking, oh God, this is awful, that isn't a sign to quit. It might be a sign to take a break for a bit, but it isn't a sign to quit. Just do your time, treat it as and after a while, that sort of motivation and inspiration comes back. And if it does wane, start at number 1 again. Find people who inspire you, talk to them, see what they're doing. And, you know, look on YouTube, but not just at the usual stuff, the stuff that you know will inspire you. And also, I just wrote this in the blog, you'll be inspired also. I've had huge inspiration by watching stuff I don't like, of actually looking at a show and going, why don't I like this? Why isn't that working for me? And I can see the flaws in it, and that makes me go, well, actually, maybe I can. And it starts getting that creative process going. So again, don't just try and find stuff to reinforce what you already like. Try and find stuff that will challenge what you like. And if you don't like it, try and think why you don't like it. And it gives you a lot more of a good compass to where you should go with your time with magic. So I hope that's you know, I came off that call with Tom, and if you've just joined us, check out Tom Crosby's stuff. If you want to learn the cube, do yourself a favor, you know, invest a bit of money into an hour, and that will just save you so much time. You know, yes, buy the books, but don't buy books you're not going to read, he says. Yeah, yeah, I've read all of them. No, yeah, do it, do, but understand that even though it may feel like a lot to spend in one go, it might save you a lot of time and get you to a place that's somewhere you just wouldn't have got without that kind of inspiration. And incidentally, I had a phone call with someone today because I'm doing it's a midlife crisis. I'm going to do a beatbox piece in my show because I've got an idea. I've always wanted to do it, but I've got an idea I've got some context for it now. And there's a local beatboxer. I did an appearance on the radio, and we were on the same radio station, and we're really nice guys. So I just thought I'd just ring him up, and we're going to have an hour together of him just kind of, again, show me what works with the looping machine that I'm getting and all that. So again, it's just saving that, fast tracking us to a place where we can start putting the work in and know we're not wasting our time. So I'm going to go to questions. I hope that was useful. I hope it. Please don't think I'm just spouting. I do kind of think about this stuff and try and say things that would benefit you as people, but with the understanding that, come on, I don't know everything. Some people would say that I claim to. Hey Gary, how you doing? Alec, I hope you're well, if you're still here. I desperately want to come and see some of you guys. It's Alex in Chicago, and I just wish I could just pop on a plane. Hey, good. Hope you're good. Manish, hope you're good in India. Never had a chance to have a mentor, but learn a lot about the art history and psychology from lovely people like you on YouTube. Started from scratch and now a part-time professional. Brilliant, Manish. And you don't have to find people in person. It's great if you can. All right, but I find my inspiration in books, like I said, in the books that aren't, but also just by hearing something, from hearing interviews. Again, some of us aren't in the situation where we can go and meet people, especially not now, but even out of this, I've got my kids half the time, it's hard. So yes, I will make the effort to have but just being realistic, I can't do a day with the beatbox guy, but I can do an hour, and maybe you can do an hour every now and then. Sometimes you can't, but you can still find that. Every day is a school day. Hey Paul, how you doing? From Gary, absolutely. I used to stick to myself with my artwork and didn't really get very far in terms of getting work. Ended up doing a couple of comic conventions, selling my own books, and got to meet some amazing people, pro artists. And then got some advice and took it on board. And suddenly, after taking the advice and mentorship on board, within 2 months, I got Topps Cardware. Brilliant, man. And that's that. I didn't go to conventions for years because I was uninspired. And then I realised that, I went again and just got totally fired up just by having conversations with people, just by, sometimes it doesn't have to be explicitly that thing of, that networking thing that I don't like, where you can tell someone's just talking to you because they want to draw information out of you. That information will come with a natural conversation, naturally, and it will be much more profound because of it, I think. So networking is a powerful thing and all that, but enjoy it as well and be sociable and be yourself with it. That's great, Ace. Brilliant. Watch one TED Talk every day when I just started doing that was what I did that as well. Helped me understand stage presence and, of course, provided tons of knowledge. Absolutely. Just look at, watch Ken Robinson's TED Talk. Someone stood on stage in a very relaxed manner, telling stories, and just I think it's the most popular TED Talk. It's just great. Brené Brown, just telling stories. Doesn't have to be this highly polished kind of, thing. And that's what my show is going to be. It's going to be me telling stories and doing some magic tricks. Beatboxing, that sounds amazing. Really look forward to that. Yeah, don't speak too soon. Hopefully it will be. It might be just something, might be an excuse to buy some toys, a looper and looping pedal and just start having fun. Some say no pain, no gain. I say no pain, thank you very much. Yeah, totally. Yeah, you don't want it to be too painful. Good point, It is no pain, no gain, as in it's sometimes going to be challenging, but it's comfort, stretch, and panic, all right? Comfort is where we tend to get a bit bored, where life's too comfortable. Stretch is where we feel like we're challenging ourselves, and that's where we tend to be happiest, even when we might not feel it at the time. Panic is when it's just awful, and we don't want that. We can dip our toes in it a bit, but, when I do my new show in September, I'm going to be panicking, there's no doubt. But if I'm panicking through the whole show, that ain't going to work. So we can dip our toes in it. Very few physical magic shops in the UK. I guess this would be a great place to meet people and mentors. Absolutely, but there's a great thing you can do, and I got this through reading books such as 7 Habits of Highly Effective People, again, reading out of my niche, and understand that if something isn't available to you, you can start. You don't have to start a magic shop, but that thing of start a social weekly meetup. I promise you, if you get 10 people, 6 people together, 5, 4, whatever, every week, and there are magicians in you, and they know that there's people meeting every week to geek out on magic, you will, after time, have a social situation that feels like a mini convention. I know I've heard the story so many times. So if you're looking for something that isn't there, what can you do to start it? And that was one of the inspirations of the card magic course. I wanted one place where I could trust that someone was going to teach me something, and I found loads of different things, but I wanted one place because I love my moves and slides. And I also wasn't happy with what I was seeing on YouTube. I was really sad about people teaching bad technique. I'm not saying mine's perfect, but who had never done it. And I thought, well, if I don't like it, do something about it. And that's it. And so, it's Davenport's in the 70s was brilliant. I bet it was. Absolutely. Started getting into magic, then lockdown started and not met many people in my magic club. No, and Samuel, of course, and that's the thing. So seek that out, start Zoom sessions, get over a few people, and just don't go with it. The big thing is fear, isn't it? And I'm going to do a lot of a video about this as a separate thing. But one of the things that stops us doing things or approaching people is fear. And if you learn at some point that when things go wrong, it's not the end of the world. So when I started performing, the idea of getting anything wrong was so remarkably daunting for me. The idea of asking someone to help me and them saying no. I get it daily now. I want to give them this. No, sorry, I'm busy. Fine. Thank you so much. And it's just, people say no is fine. People not wanting to buy your stuff is fine. People not liking your stuff is fine. Just learn from it and overcome that fear. But, right. So I've banged on enough probably, haven't I? So a couple of things before we go. I'll have a drink of water because, as you can hear, my voice is ruined. So do check out the link here in my show if you're in the area. 2nd of September, called The Magic of Now. Is tickets available for that. Check out Tom's stuff because he helped me so much, and I know a lot of people learning cubes that are struggling. There's a lot of stuff online, but it's kind of everywhere and it's hard to find. He's got a really nice setup there, and of course check out Tom Crosby's Twitch channel. Again, look below for all the deal. I mentioned also the Daily Magician. Check out their stuff. I will put a link below this there, and I will do a separate video about that stuff, and lots of people you can learn off. Danny Goldsmith's got some free stuff. He's getting really into this whole idea of sharing, giving people a free vanish and all that. So again, there'll be separate videos and all this stuff, but just understand you cannot do it on your own. All right, the real magic comes from synergy, by being connecting with other people. So thank you very much. Do check out cardmagiccourse.com. If you like this, you will like that. You can join on the Thursday sessions, and it's just basically all of us hanging out, sharing ideas, getting feedback on ideas, and kind of what this is, I suppose, is what I'm talking about. So have a good one, everyone. Please like and subscribe. If you like this and you feel it's valuable, please share it. That'll be lovely. Thanks for watching. Take care. See you soon. And thanks, Ace. Cool.